from the set of voter accreditation and voting, counting, and to independently verify the official results for those three states of Benue, Delta, and Kano, as announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The preliminary statement is based on reports from 275 of 300, that is 91% sample polling units in Benue, 263 of 300, 87% sample polling units in Delta, and 285 of 300, 95% sample
You're
polling
on live
units.
to GTV Africa, live from Abuja.
Additionally, Yiaga Africa
Let's pay attention to
also deployed
outcome or
550
reports
observers in
of the
the other
Yiaga group.
25 states where the governorship elections were conducted. Yiaga Africa commends INEC for the significant improvement in the management of election logistics, especially the early commencement of polls due to the prompt arrival of election officials in majority of the polling units. Unlike in the February 25 presidential election, the INEC election results viewing portal, IREV, functioned optimally, making it possible for citizens to download polling unit level results. Electronic accreditation using the bimodal voter accreditation system reverse was successfully implemented in a significant number of polling units observed by Yiaga. Yiaga Africa commends the resilience of voters for participating in the election, despite the tense election climate and trust deficits in the electoral process. The elections benefited from the vigilance and resilience of citizens who expressed determination to vote and reported cases of manipulation, violence, and intimidation. The governorship and state assembly elections were signposted with voter suppression, electoral violence, electoral impunity, vote buying, and capture of the resource management system by political thugs in Delta, Lagos, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Kano, and Taraba states. Yiaga Africa is saddened by the cases of attacks on voters, INEC officials, election observers, and personnel of the EFCC by political thugs. These stakeholders suffered grievous bodily harm and psychological trauma. Reports also indicate that an average of 8 fatalities were recorded within the last 24 hours. These election-related deaths are unacceptable and highly condemnable. It is important for security agencies to hold the political thugs and their sponsors accountable for these deaths and attacks. Yiaga Africa condemns in unequivocal terms acts of voter suppression fueled by ethnic profiling, political thuggery, and desperation to secure electoral victory at all costs. The flagrant abuse of the Constitution and the 2022 Electoral Act, registered voters and fellow citizens were denied the opportunity to vote in some states. Voting is a constitutionally guaranteed right of voters that requires free and fair participation of all eligible voters in a peaceful process. A denial of this right undermines the credibility of election outcomes. Yiaga Africa further condemns the cases of voter inducement reported across the country in the election, as this act perpetuates um, electoral corruption and political inequality. Yiaga Africa, watching the vote, observed accreditation, voting, and counting at polling units in all 3 states. Reports received so far indicate that voting did not happen in 5% of polling units in Delta State. There will be additional key observations on election day process, but I'll just move straight to counting. At 97%, 99%, and 99% of polling units in Benue, Delta, and Kano, respectively, counting was done in the same location as accreditation and voting. Yiaga Africa also received additional reports on conduct of elections from other 25 states from its 550 stationary and mobile observers. This includes reports on the deployment of the beavers. Yiaga Africa observed that beavers was deployed across all of the observed polling units in 25 states. In 16 polling units, where Yiaga Africa received reports of malfunctioning, beavers was either fixed or replaced. In 496 polling units, beavers was shown to be zero before accreditation and voting started. In 144 polling units, voters whose names were on the register of voters and not on the beavers were denied accreditation. Secrecy of the ballots. In 92 polling units, party agents could see how voters marked their ballot papers. Professional conduct. Yaga Africa received reports that security personnel were unprofessional and partisan in 26 polling units observed. Yaga Africa received reports that polling officials were unprofessional and partisan in 21 polling units observed. Critical incidents. Over the course of Saturday, the 18th March 2023 election day, Yaga Africa verified 216 critical incidents witnessed by the watching the vote citizen observers. The most frequent reports recorded by WTV related to polling units not opening, malfunctioning of the beavers, destruction, snatching of ballot boxes, insufficient election materials, and disruption of the voting and resource collation process. This included violent disruption of the process. Observers reported that the election materials for Ward 10, Unit 2 in Emoha local government of Rivers State were hijacked at gunpoint by thugs. The bus conveying the materials and personnel was also hijacked. Watching the vote observers in Oshodi, Solo local government, Lagos State reported armed thugs affiliated with the APC shooting sporadically, which disrupted the process in 2 polling units located inside Okota Grammar School and 5 polling units in the Solo community. This resulted in the process being suspended. Thugs who are affiliated with a political party attacked the Lavum LGA Collation Center in Niger State and destroyed all the resources from the works. Yaga Africa also received report of the destruction of collation process in Ahoda West local government area in Rivers State. Watching the vote observers were trapped inside the collation center with the electoral officer after thugs started shooting at the center. Security operatives present at the time scampered for safety. Similarly, political thugs numbering about 50 attacked the polling units in Warri South local government area of Delta State and disrupted the voting process as they hunted for party agents and observers in the community. In Oferekwe, Igbegu Ward 3 in East local government area of Ebonyi State, a political thug was apprehended and killed by security personnel. The thug, whose affiliation to a political party is unknown, was shooting into the air, creating tension in the community on his way to the polling unit to interrupt the process. Elections were suspended in Kwande local government area of Benue State because of reported discrepancies over errors noticed on the printed ballot papers for the 2 constituencies under the Kwande local government area. Election was suspended for the entire LGA. Results manipulation during collation. In Abia State, Obiengwa local government area resource collation center, party agents for PDP and security agents asked observers and other party agents, APC, Accord, and ABGA to exit the collation center. Presiding officers were also forced to alter the figures on Form EC8A in favor of the PDP. The PDP agent was making a call and stated that he intends to bribe the officers at the collation center with 100,000 naira. The PDP agents were also delegating their personnel to sign on behalf of other parties after manipulating the results. Obstruction of election observation. In Tarauni local government area of Kano, watching the vote observers and other observers present were prevented from observing the local government collation process by police personnel present. A similar report was received from Okrika local government area of Rivers State. Only the PDP party agents were allowed to observe the process. Dogs organized by the local government chairman were stationed at the entrance of the collision center. Also in Gokana local government area of Rivers State, security personnel prevented all observers present from observing the collision process. Only party agents for the APC, PDP, SDP were allowed to access the collision center. Yiaga Africa Observer was denied access to the LGA collision center in Otupo local government area of Benue State. The observer from Dokwa West was also denied access to the local government collision center. Party agents stated that the LGA is APC's territory and no one is allowed into the collision center. Intimidation and harassment. In Mosoga 1 Sam Obakpa Primary School, Mosoga, Ethiope West Delta State, watching the vote, observer reported an attack on the polling unit by thugs who were angry as a result of death of one of them in another polling unit. The thugs were shooting sporadically and used cutlasses to beat the INEC officials. They carted away the ballot papers. Also in polling unit 005 of Falagai ward in Bunkure local government area, Kano State, the party agents present took advantage of the fact that security agents were not at the polling unit to disrupt the process. In watching the vote observer observing the process at Langtang South Local Government Coalition Center, reported that the LGA chairman, who is an APC member, was intimidating INEC officials and party agents at the coalition center. Vote buying. Yiaga Africa received 44 reports involving incidents of vote buying. Some of these include cash inducement and distribution of food items. PDP representatives were cited collecting bank account details of voters in polling unit 002. In Bakura Ward, Bakura local government of Zamfara State, PDP agents were also cited collecting bank account details of voters in polling unit 006. In Ward 8, Ogbomoso North local government, Ogun State, party agents contributed monies to voters in Ikenne Town Hall polling units. In Ward 2 in Ogun East local government area, Ogun State. In polling unit 003, Gidambunu ward of Zulu local government in Kebbi, APC agents was seen openly sharing wrappers to women, rice and fertilizer to men, 15 persons per bag. The party agents were also seen spying on voting cubicles while voting was ongoing. Also in the polling unit under the tree 021 Gidan Al Hazai ward, Wudil local government area of Kano, APC agents were distributing wrappers to voters. Ballot box snatching and destruction. Yiaga Africa received 19 confirmed reports of snatching and destruction of ballot papers. For instance, armed thugs snatched the ballot box for Unit 1, Ward 7 in Obiako local government area of Rivers State. They also abducted the INEC officials. Thugs destroyed ballot papers during counting of votes in Ngongo Special Primary School in Kano. Thugs affiliated with APC snatched election materials for Fagge Central Store polling unit in Yamaltu Deba local government of Gombe State. The turnout projections. Yiaga Africa preliminary estimates indicate that turnout for the March 18 governorship election in Benue will be between 27% and 33%. The turnout in Delta will be between 19% and 23%. And the turnout in Kano will be between 34% and 38%. Based on official turnout figures collected from the parallel vote tabulation representative statistical sample of polling units in this place, if INEC's official turnout falls within watching the vote estimated rate, then it accurately reflects the ballots cast. We'll just have a few recommendations, but Yiaga Africa calls on independent National Electoral Commission to ensure proper oversight of the results collection process and ensure that results declared under duress or in breach of the Electoral Act INEC guidelines or manual are reviewed in line with Section 65 of the Constitution. We call on the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security Access agents to ensure effective and adequate deployment of security personnel to collation centers to properly secure INEC officials, observers, media reporters, and party agents deployed, and arrest offenders disrupting the process and causing violence. As INEC continues to collate results, we encourage all citizens, candidates, and supporters to remain calm and peaceful, reject any call for violence. Only INEC has the legal mandate to announce the election results and return a candidate as a winner. We urge all stakeholders to respect the Commission's constitutional power and refrain from declaring election results. Yiaga Africa enjoins citizens to remain calm and maintain peace as INEC collates these results. Yiaga Africa continues to monitor the results collation until the final completion. As soon as INEC announces the official results, Yiaga Africa will convene a press conference to share a statement on the accuracy of the election results. Yiaga Africa, throughout the Watching the Vote initiative, is committed to promoting more credible elections by providing independent information on the conduct of the elections and independently verifying the accuracy of the election results. As you already know, we are driven by data, and we are for all Nigerians, we are beholden to them. Thank you, and God bless the people of Nigeria.
Thank you very much. So that's the update statement on the elections. Just to note a few things. One is, compared to the presidential elections, the governorship elections recorded a high number of critical incidents. In the presidential elections, we had 161 critical incidents, 131 critical incidents, and now we've recorded about 216 critical incidents. Now, these infractions, as noted in the statements, have great impact on the credibility and legitimacy of the outcomes of the elections in the locations where they occur. And it's important to note that, as the statement highlights, we deployed two methodology for this election. One is the PVT, which is in 3 states, and then the purposive observation across the 25 states. It's important to make this distinction as we report on Yiaga Africa's report. The second point of emphasis is, in the build-up to this election, Yiaga Africa, in conjunction with other civil society organizations, published 3 reports on election manipulation. And these reports were released to members of the public and indeed highlight some risk mitigation measures. Now, the incidents that we've highlighted from yesterday and today validates some of the concerns expressed in this report, because everything that we've highlighted in our statement did occur, and to a large extent really speaks to the need for stakeholders and democratic institutions to take seriously, early warning signs, including projections and reports published by civil society organizations and other stakeholders. It is important because everything that's happened in the last couple of days are things that we already predicted in the Election Manipulation Risk Index report. The third and final thing, that for these 3 states, Delta, Kano, and Benue states, as at last night, Yiaga Africa had received all the data for these 3 states, and our confidence level for the results from those 3 states is very high. But we want to tell first the stakeholders, including the voters out there, that we will continue to observe this entire process. And after INEC declares the result for those three states, we will be in a position to either verify the results or detect where there are inconsistencies in the results. So it was important to reiterate that fact just to help us understand, this journey that we started in the last couple of days. At this point, we would like to ask if there are any questions. And if there are no questions, we would like to invite you to our final press conference. And that will be contingent on when the results for those other states have been declared. It appears there are no questions. And so thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
You're
thanks for
on
your
live
patience
to
as well.
GTV Africa. You've just listened to the group, Yiaga Africa, about the results. And later, they are going to be giving us the update of elections. Wait till I come back at that point at Bimiga Olamiko.